What's going on, Sports Wars? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we are going to talk about Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. I apologize for us not having more content covering this topic here on the channel. That is 100% on me, but we will fix that problem. But we're going to get into this because Stephen A. and Max had a good discussion about this topic, and I want to talk more about it because it's rare that ESPN just has a genuinely good discussion on a topic without bringing BS into it, and they did it here. And I see both points of view. However, I agree with Max almost 100% on this, and that's very rare for me to agree with Max, but they both have good takes, and I understand where they're coming from. So I want to react to this, and again, when ESPN has a good take and a good discussion, you pull over 1 million views, because this is what people tune into sports talk for, is to hear a debate on the topic without the bullshit being brought into it. Here we go.
Was last night's event good for boxing?
Stephen A., I'm curious to hear what you have to say on this, because I suspect I know where you're going.
I don't think it was good for boxing. I really don't. I'm disappointed in it. And, you know, the state of Florida wouldn't sanction about a 35-pound difference. Floyd Mayweather came in heavier than he's ever been, usually fighting at 145 to 147. Fought at 155 last night. Logan Paul was at 189.5 pounds. It was like watching Rocky against Drago, for crying out. I'm talking about before they actually started boxing. I'm just talking about the size, just the appearance. I just look at it from this perspective. I love what Logan Paul and Jake Paul have done in terms of showing the boxing public that there's a way to make this money and to gain notoriety for yourself without being at the mercy of the promoters. If you want to say that it's good for boxing, I think that it's good from the standpoint that it puts pressure on the promoters, in my estimation, or it should put pressure for them to give us the fights that we want to see. Like, for example, there's no reason on earth that we should not see
Crawford
versus Errol Spence. We should see that, okay? Anthony Joshua with Tyson Fury, we'll get that hopefully, but Wilder gets Fury for a third time again. Maybe Andre Ward will come out of retirement, Max. You'll know about that one day. I love Canelo Alvarez. He's my favorite fighter right now, and I think he's pound for pound #1 in the world. You want to see those kind of things. But when I look at this,
whenever Stephen A., I feel like Stephen A. has to just say a bunch of names that are relevant to the sport that they're discussing to try to make it present that he knows what he's talking about. He does this all the time. It doesn't matter. Just pay attention. When Stephen A. Smith is talking about a sport, he just loves to just throw out name after name after name after name after name after name after name just to make it seem like I know what I'm talking about. It's you know, it's just something I've noticed anyway.
And I just say to myself, a world-class, all-world champion like Floyd Money Mayweather, giving a YouTuber this opportunity who's had one fight on his professional record, you know, and then you last 8 rounds. That's going to give life to novices out there who don't belong in the same class as these guys to think that they can do stuff like this. And I think that it's going to compromise the quality level of competition that we all salivate for when it really, really comes to boxing. As an aside, Max, just so you know, I don't know if you remember the former NBA player Kendall Gill.
Of course.
Yes. Kendall Gill and I spoke yesterday. He's been training twice a day for years.
Oh, yeah.
Boxing.
Yeah, he's calling everybody out. Yeah.
Well, he wants Jake Paul. He's been calling Jake Paul out for a long time. He wants Jake Paul.
I will pay money. I will pay money to see Kendall Gill versus Jake Paul, because that would be a legit fight. Like this Floyd-Logan Paul thing, look, it pulled the numbers, and I'll get into that here in just a minute. I had no interest in watching this fight because I knew what this fight was going to be. But Kendall Gill and Jake Paul, I'd watch that.
Oh, badly. Mm-hmm. You know, an exhibition like that, I wouldn't mind seeing that, Jake Paul, assuming you get past Tyron Woodley. I wouldn't mind seeing that
I'll bet you we see that. I don't know if we see it next,
so.
But I'll bet you we see it.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it was bad for boxing at all. I don't think it was a bad night. First of all, Floyd Mayweather's retired, and he's never coming out of retirement. He already made that clear.
Yes.
That was not Floyd Mayweather in a professional prize fight. That was Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition, which he deemed entertainment. He told everybody ahead of time what it was going to be.
He did.
This is no buyer beware. He told you. It's not like he sold you a false bill of goods. He told you, this is an exhibition. I'm going to go out and have fun, which is what he did. Now, Logan Paul built up enough of a following, I would say, in social media, 20 million people, that he brings a lot of economic clout to events. And since he's much bigger than Floyd, and Floyd's been retired for years and everything, there was something about it that was intriguing. We can't pretend it wasn't. Who didn't want to see it? People bought it.
It's professional wrestling. That's all it is. Now, my take on this is that boxing, look, in the 80s and the 90s, boxing was something special. You know, these were legitimate events, you know, when Tyson and Holyfield and the heavyweight championship was on the line, and, you know, Lennox Lewis and these guys, like, it was an event. It meant something. And even if you get into the middleweights with Roy Jones Jr., these moments were, like, these were big moments. But boxing has suffered in the last decade or two? I don't even remember how long it's been since I've cared about boxing. I mean, I watched Mayweather-Pacquiao, but I mean, outside of those few and far between is really what it comes down to. And boxing, to me, has hurt itself so badly that it needs people like Jake and Logan Paul. And I don't like Jake and Logan Paul at all. But I respect them. I respect the grind. I respect the hustle that they've put themselves in this position to where they're relevant enough where people care enough to pay money to watch them in a fight that we knew wasn't a real fight anyway. It's professional wrestling. It's entertainment. That's what it is. But the reason I don't think it hurt boxing is because boxing is already hurting. So if it wasn't in this position, it wouldn't need this. Like, there's a reason that Logan Paul and Jake Paul can't get into the NFL and pull this, because the NFL is thriving. The NFL has, you know, standards, and it has a process. Boxing has fallen so far that it's in a position where people like Logan Paul and Jake Paul can come in and give it new life because it's so irrelevant. That's my take on it.
Because this is all you need to know. Ding, ding, round one. You watching, yes or no? Floyd and Logan Paul? Oh, yeah, you're watching. That's all you need to know. Everything else doesn't matter. And does it hurt boxing? Let me tell you, you brought up Rocky and Drago, right, Stephen A? That's not the right Drago reference. The right Drago reference is Apollo and Drago. What you don't want is that in an exhibition, right? Oh, no one got knocked out, and Floyd just kind of played with him after the second round and walked him down and kind of didn't really want to finish him, it seemed, and all that. Do we want the opposite? We want Floyd to kill him, right? Is that what we're looking for? Do we want Logan Paul, rushed to a hospital in an ambulance? Is that what we're looking for? No, it's an exhibition.
But that's what would have happened if Floyd actually wanted to. Floyd could have knocked him out in no time. No time.
Were you entertained? Yeah, I was entertained. By the way, good undercard, Hurd and Arias. That was an upset, real good fight. You got to see Ocho Cinco. That was a night of entertainment. Now, it was, you don't want to pay $50 the next time one of the Paul brothers fights or Mayweather. Don't do it. No one's forcing you. But I'll tell you this. There are some events people try to make, and the public's just like, I don't care. That wasn't this. People cared. I got no beef.
Did they care?
I'm just 100% on the same page as Max. And again, when Max talks about anything outside of boxing, he's an idiot most of the time. But when this dude talks boxing, he's up there. He's on another level. And I respect his boxing takes. And I agree with everything he says here. Again, don't like the Paul brothers, but I respect the hustle. And I respect that they put themselves in this position. It was entertaining for a lot of people. Again, I didn't watch it. But it clearly pulled enough attention to make it relevant enough, and these guys got paid for it. Good on them. Boxing hasn't been in a good place, and it needs people like this to bring the entertainment value into it, to bring the level of interest up. I got no problem with it. So I'll be interested to know your thoughts in the comments below. So again, let us know what you think. It's a very interesting topic. And again, it's got 1 million views on ESPN's channel for a reason, because people are interested in this topic. And it was a good take by these two guys. It was a take on the substance of the matter. Like, they didn't bring any nonsense into it. That's what people want to see more of. So you guys check out geeksandgamers.com. Check us out on Locals. Let me know what you think about all of this. Have a great day, and we will talk to you later.